Tesla is once again making headlines, but this time it is not for a new electric car. The big news is a compact living space with a listed price of $7,779. In today's housing market, where the median cost of a home in the United States has climbed past $400,000 and average rent hovers around $1,800 each month, that figure immediately raises questions. The price tag is only the starting point. Where can such a unit actually be placed? How is it powered? What exactly fits inside? And is $7,779 truly the final cost once it is set up for everyday use? Today, we explore possible scenarios. Backyards, recreational vehicle parks, off-grid land combined with solar setups, and mobile use mounted on a trailer. Then we step inside to see how every inch of the small space is designed to count. Finally, we break down connections, running expenses, and modest add-ons that help keep it functional and modern without pushing costs out of reach. You are watching Amp Drive, a channel that does not simply recycle rumors but dives into Tesla news with facts, clear numbers, and straightforward analysis. If that is the type of content you value, make sure to subscribe to help us reach 2,000 subscribers and do not forget to turn on notifications as well. How does a $7,779 Tesla tiny house measure up when compared to the current realities of the housing market? The difference is almost shocking. By the year 2025, the average home price in the United States has already surpassed $400,000. In many large metro areas, that number climbs well beyond $500,000. For anyone relying on a conventional 30-year mortgage, even the minimum 20% down payment means putting down close to $80,000 in cash before a single monthly installment is due. Renters face a different but equally heavy burden. A simple one-bedroom apartment now costs on average about $1,800 per month, which adds up to nearly $22,000 each year simply for the right to keep a roof overhead. Against that backdrop, the Tesla tiny home's listed price equals roughly 4 months of rent. That massive gap is exactly why the concept has been drawing so much attention. For less than the cost of a used compact car, Tesla is offering what could be classified as a livable unit. This product is not competing with upscale condominiums or 3-bedroom suburban homes, but it does not need to. The target is more specific. It is aimed at individuals who want to shrink housing costs to the bare minimum, retirees who are looking for a low-cost downsizing option that does not tie them to decades of property tax obligations, and younger buyers locked out of traditional real estate markets who may prefer mobility and simplicity over a long-term mortgage. If Tesla manages to scale production and consistently deliver units near that $7,779 mark, the tiny home market could experience the same type of disruption that the auto industry felt when the $35,000 Tesla Model 3 first entered production. Now, would you personally consider living in a Tesla tiny house at that price? Comment 1 if you could see yourself making it your full-time residence and saving substantially on housing expenses. Comment 2 if you think it only works as a secondary space or backup option rather than a permanent home. And do not forget to explain why in the comments section. We are curious to know how you view this idea. Affordability may be the hook, but practicality is the real test. A $7,779 shell only makes sense if there are clear answers about where such a home can legally be placed. That leads to the next big issue. Where can one of these small homes realistically be put? One of the simplest answers is a backyard. In most states, structures below 400 square feet are exempt from the requirement of full building permits. This allows homeowners to add them without facing the entire complex maze of zoning boards. That makes such a unit appealing as a private guest room, an independent home office, or an affordable living option for extended family members. To understand the savings, compare it with building a typical backyard accessory dwelling unit, which usually costs between $50,000 and $100,000 once construction materials, labor, and permits are added in. A Tesla home priced at a fraction of that could save tens of thousands of dollars while bypassing most of the red tape. Another route is to treat the structure as a recreational vehicle. When classified as an RV, it becomes legal in most states to set it up in existing RV parks where utility hookups are already integrated. These parks generally charge $400 to $800 per month for a lot, depending on the state and included amenities. Even at the high end, this is less than half the cost of renting a one-bedroom apartment in many cities where average rent hovers around $1,800. For retirees who enjoy travel, seasonal workers, or anyone priced out of city housing, this arrangement looks attractive financially. A different option, and one that matches Elon Musk's broader vision, is the off-grid scenario. In areas such as Arizona, Texas, or Nevada, undeveloped rural or desert land can still be purchased for as little as $2,000 to $5,000 per acre. Pairing such land with Tesla's own solar roof panels and a compact Powerwall-style battery creates the possibility of a fully self-sufficient lifestyle without recurring utility bills and with minimal property taxes. By comparison, building a small traditional cabin with a solar setup and a septic system can easily exceed $50,000. Tesla's concept could bring the total cost of land and utilities closer to $15,000, making it a serious option for younger buyers seeking independence or retirees wanting to slash fixed monthly costs. There is also the possibility of keeping the home mobile by mounting it on a trailer. This keeps the classification in the category of a mobile unit rather than fixed real estate, meaning it avoids property taxes altogether. It also gives the owner freedom to move across states if personal needs change or if regulations shift. The trade-off is that long-term comfort may be reduced since mobile units often have thinner insulation and less structural stability than permanent ones. Still, for individuals accustomed to RV life, a Tesla tiny house mounted on a trailer could serve as a higher-tech and better insulated alternative, especially when paired with Starlink for reliable internet. Of course, one of the most important questions is how to power the house. Tesla's blueprint indicates a compact 2-kilowatt solar roof paired with a downsized Powerwall Mini battery system. This setup would be sufficient for core household functions such as lighting, refrigeration, laptop use, and even a small induction cooktop. In cities, the home could be directly tied to the grid. In rural or off-grid scenarios, users could expect around 10 kilowatt-hours of stored energy, enough to cover about 2 days of moderate consumption without sunlight. By comparison, most conventional RV solar kits max out at about 1.2 kilowatts, which makes Tesla's package nearly twice as powerful. Water access follows a similar pattern. In urban areas, it would connect directly to municipal lines just like an apartment. In more remote or undeveloped settings, the solution becomes storage tanks combined with portable filtration systems. Industry estimates place the cost of a tank and filter setup between $1,000 and $2,000, capable of holding about 200 gallons of water. For a single occupant, that equates to about 1 week of supply before refilling, which is comparable to mid-range camper systems but with better filtration performance. Connectivity is the third essential factor, and this is where Tesla draws from Musk's other venture. Starlink is the obvious choice, providing average download speeds of 100 to 150 megabits per second at a monthly cost of roughly $120. That is sufficient for video calls, high-definition streaming, and remote work. Unlike cable or fiber, coverage also extends to rural areas where tiny homes are most likely to be placed. The combination of solar power, modular water systems, and satellite internet demonstrates that the true breakthrough of Tesla's tiny house may not be the low $7,779 entry price, but the integration of supporting systems that allow flexible use both in cities and off-grid environments. So, what does the inside look like? How do you make such a small footprint actually livable? The clever approach is to consolidate heavy utility functions along one wall, essentially forming a service spine. This section holds the kitchen, the small refrigerator, the electrical panel, the battery with inverter, and the water filter. Grouping all of these together reduces the complexity of plumbing and wiring. Positioning the system near the entry also allows maintenance without disturbing the main living area. From this spine, the kitchen layout is arranged with efficiency in mind. A 2-burner induction cooktop sits beneath a slim vent hood, a compact sink with a pull-out faucet is placed under a window for natural light and air, and the under-counter refrigerator preserves counter space. Overhead cabinets hold less frequently used items, while open shelving keeps everyday items close at hand. A fold-down wall table can be used for dining or extra prep space, then folded flat when not in use. Water functions remain compact but practical. A two-stage filter sits under the sink with neat PX tubing for easy servicing. A small freshwater tank and pressure pump are hidden inside a bench seat with an access door. Exterior fill and drain points on the side of the house make hookups simple and quick. Climate control and bathing also follow the small space logic. A mini split heat pump mounts high on the wall to push air across the length of the room, while a small energy recovery ventilator keeps fresh air flowing without losing heat or coolness. The bathroom is designed as a wet room with a pocket door, a sloped floor leading to a central drain, a compact wall-mounted sink with mirror cabinet, and recessed shelves for bottles. Sleeping and storage areas finish the design. A light loft with a ladder and guardrail serves as the main bed, while a convertible sofa beneath it doubles as a guest bed. Storage drawers slide out from under the bench, and a hatch near the entry offers space for rarely used items. The entry itself functions as a small mud zone with hooks, a shoe rack, a drip tray, and a slim mirror to keep the rest of the home clean. A compact cabinet near the entry holds the battery system, inverter, main shutoff, and breakers. Outside, stabilizer jacks and a small awning make setup and moving easier. But is $7,779 really the total cost? The reality is that beyond the shell, owners will need to add some essentials. Fortunately, most of these additions are relatively affordable and keep the total price within reach. Insulation and ceiling work typically costs $300 to $600. A compact 9,000 British thermal unit heat pump mini split generally ranges from $600 to $1,200, with installation labor adding $300 to $500. Energy-efficient lighting and switches cost about $50 to $120. A 2-burner induction cooktop costs between $80 and $180, and a medium-sized fridge usually costs $300 to $450. Plumbing with PX tubing, a small sink, and fixtures add another $200 to $450. Safety items such as smoke and carbon monoxide detectors and a small fire extinguisher cost between $40 and $90. Space-saving furniture like a convertible sofa or Murphy-style bed can be found for $200 to $500, while a folding wall table adds another $70 to $150. Altogether, the cost of making the interior clean and comfortable usually totals between $1,700 and $3,900. Adding this to the base shell means an all-in cost between about $9,500 and $11,700, still less than 7 months of paying average rent at $1,800 per month. Operating costs are also modest. With energy-efficient appliances, monthly electricity use often falls between 120 and 220 kilowatt-hours, which translates to about $18 to $40 at common residential rates. Water, trash, and basic service fees vary but usually add $20 to $40. Internet costs range from $25 to $75 depending on whether you use a phone hotspot or Starlink. Altogether, typical owners spend between $60 and $155 each month on basic utilities. Maintenance is simple, too. Cleaning mini-split filters, wiping coils, and sealing the roof once a year is mostly do-it-yourself, costing around $50 to $120 annually. Even if you hire professional service, yearly upkeep usually stays between $150 and $300. Financing is another path if you do not want to pay up front. A $10,000 loan over 60 months at 8% interest results in a payment of about $193 per month. At 10% interest, it is about $212. Both figures are still lower than what many city households already pay in utilities alone for a regular apartment, and the payments end after 5 years. The conclusion is simple. The base shell provides most of what you need. The essentials for the interior are measured in only hundreds or low thousands. The ongoing monthly costs are minimal and predictable. And upkeep is easy. Once you add the right placement strategy and utility plan, the Tesla tiny house can realistically deliver on its promise of affordable and flexible living. Now it is your turn. Would you live in it full-time? Drop the letter A if yes. Would you prefer to use it as a backup studio, guest space, or occasional home? Drop the letter B if that is your choice. Share where you live, how you would set it up, and why. Thank you for watching AMP Drive. Like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the next deep dive. See you in the next one.